The bar was packed with noise, neon, and 9 different species drinking in uneasy silence. Then a human walked in, smiling, unarmed, and humming a tune. 30 minutes later, a war-born bracker was unconscious under a table, 2 wall-mounted plasma rifles were slag, and the galactic elite were whispering one thing: do not anger the humans. The galactic outpost Bar 17B was known for 3 things: cheap fuel-grade alcohol, bitter synth meat kebabs, and violence that always stopped right before it turned fatal. It sat on the edge of the neutral zone, a melting pot of smugglers, traders, bounty hunters, and off-duty soldiers. No one came to 17B for peace. They came to blow off steam. But even here, when a human walked in, everyone paid attention. Private Jake Mercer was on leave, fresh off a recon drop in the Gotham sector, still bruised, still grinning. He had that easy earthborn swagger that made some species curious and others nervous. He walked up to the bar, nodded to the multi-armed bartender, and ordered something toxic. "Surprise me," he said, and tossed a few galactic creds down. The barkeep sniffed and poured him a greenish sludge that sizzled in the glass. At a back table, a group of bracker soldiers watched him. 7 feet tall, reptilian, armored by nature and pride. They were fresh from a skirmish in the Tangi Rebellion and still itching for a fight. One of them, larger than the rest, stood and slammed a heavy fist on the bar beside Jake. "You humans are weak," the bracker hissed. "Always talking, always smiling. You bleed like prey." Jake turned to face him, unshaken. "You talk a lot for someone trying to pick a fight in a drinking spot." The bracker leaned closer, his breath rancid and hot. "You're in my galaxy, little primate. You should show respect." Jake raised his glass, sipped the sludge, and winced. "Respect's earned, scaly, not barked." That did it. The first punch came fast, and it wasn't the brackers. Jake ducked low, slammed his elbow into the alien's gut, then pivoted and used the momentum to toss him into a table of Yvari diplomats. Glass shattered. A plasma blade hummed on. Chairs screeched. Someone screamed. And then chaos descended. Blaster bolts fired into the air as security droids powered down, too slow to react. Jake ducked behind the bar, rolled over it with a bottle in hand, and cracked it across another bracker's head. It didn't knock him out, but it stunned him enough for a knee to the jaw to do the rest. A Zarn mercenary tried to grapple Jake from behind, but Jake had already spun, used the alien's own weight to flip him, and slammed him onto a table, breaking it in half. Someone shouted, "He's just one." Another yelled back, "Then why aren't you helping?" The bar had turned into a brawl, but Jake wasn't just fighting. He was dancing through it. His moves weren't clean. They were brutal, instinctive, and efficient. He wasn't the strongest in the room. He was just the only one who didn't hesitate. That terrified them more than any weapon. By the time the smoke cleared, 3 bracker were unconscious, 4 tables destroyed, and Jake stood in the middle, bloody knuckles and a calm breath. He picked up his drink, now miraculously intact, and took a slow sip. Then he looked around at the stunned silence. "Now that," he said, wiping blood off his cheek, "was better than therapy." No one spoke. Even the bartender, who'd seen riots, revolutions, and an attempted wedding in his bar, just stared. A Kree ambassador leaned to his assistant. "They're not just strong," he whispered. "They're insane." Another alien muttered, "We've fought humans in war, but I've never seen one. Enjoy it." The news of the fight spread faster than warp signatures. By next cycle, a dozen sectors were buzzing. Reports twisted the tale. Some said Jake fought off an entire platoon alone. Others claimed he killed a bracker with a bottle shard. It didn't matter. What mattered was the whisper that reached military command halls, political chambers, and black markets. Humans don't fight like us. They fight like they're born for it. Back at Earth's embassy on Zalun Prime, Ambassador Kira Dent was reviewing reports when she got the footage. "Private Mercer again," her aide said, almost apologetic. Kira watched the grainy bar cam. She didn't flinch at the violence. She sighed. "Schedule a medal," she said. "And a public apology." "For which part?" She smirked. "Let the aliens think we regret it. And make sure that footage leaks." "Understood." Because deep down, everyone in the galaxy knew now. You can outgun a human, outnumber them, even outlaw them. But in a dirty, bloody, up-close fight, never underestimate a human. Especially not in a bar.